Hi everyone, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and in today's video we are unboxing an art subscription box. Is Upcrate, the June 2023 box, number 46. It's already opened because I am filming this intro after I've made the art. It's a really good box, so stick around. Will I make something with skulls, or will I do something that's Barbie, or will I do both? Who knows? It could be either of those two things, and probably only those two things going forward. That's my entire personality. So I thought I'd had box 46 sitting around for a couple of weeks, but then I went to check my letterbox just before I sat down to film this, and Upcrate 47 was there. So I guess we'll be posting that one next. So get comfy and let's make some art. All right, what do we got this time? I've used these before. Paint markers. So these are an acrylic paint pen, permanent ink with a brush tip. And we've got 4 colours: mango, curry, orange, red, and pink. Interesting colour palette. We have a 3H graphite pencil. Don't really love the 3H. It's a bit too hard for my liking. And we have an Art Space pigment liner with a brush tip in black. Oops. And oh, this feels so nice. This little square eraser. This feels really nice in my hands. All right, so it looks like that's our supplies. Let's put these aside. We have the Bottle Post magazine, which we get every month. We've got a bit more info about our supplies. Guess it looks like our surface is an A5 acrylic drawing pad. I'll get to that in a minute. Our co-captain, Lisa Tegtmeyer. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Some little interview with her and some of her work. So this is, this is digital art, but I guess we can get the same effect with the flat pigment from the brushes, from the brush markers. Yeah, so this is a piece that she's created with the brush pens. You can get that nice flat opaque look. Little tutorials. Upgrade battle from box number 44, thinking about the future. They're the 3 winners. And our prompt for this month with these supplies is be bold. All right, let's have a think about what we're going to make. We've got the print. Oh, we saw her making this in the magazine. Cute sticker sheet. This is giving me very Barbie vibes, which is just my entire personality at the moment. So I'll be sticking these all through my bullet journal. And our surface, 300 GSM acrylic paper. So this will be nice. I'll just unpack that. All right, so I just unwrapped that, and oh, this is quite textured, and you probably aren't going to be able to see that on camera. Maybe you can, but it's very textured on one side of the paper and smooth on the other. So this will be interesting to use. All right, I'm going to swatch out all the supplies and tell you a bit more about them, and then we're going to make some art. So first up, I'm swatching the graphite pencil, and like I said, I don't really love an H pencil. They're just too hard for me. And just reading in the Bottle Post magazine, it says that it's the ratio of clay to graphite that determines the hardness of the pencil. So if the pencil has more clay, then it's a harder pencil, and I never knew that. So that's interesting. And then we're swatching out the black brush liner, which was a really interesting, very, very flexible nib, but sort of not flexible at the tip, flexible at the base of the nib, which is really interesting. But I love the different line weights that you can get from that. So that's going to be a really useful brush pen in my collection. And then I'm swatching out the Karen Deco Brush paint markers. Now I have used these before. I think we got them in a scroller box one time, and I love the brush tips on these pens, but I don't like the way that the paint comes out. So they dry up a little bit, and it's harder to get the paint running through in comparison to, say, like a Posca marker, if you're familiar with those, where you depress the nibs and you can shake them and get the paint out quite quickly. These don't have that effect, that same effect, but in saying that, you can get more texture from these paint markers. And I'm just experimenting here to see if we can mix them with water. You can't reactivate them, so once they're dry, they're dry. You can't shift them around, but if you use them from a palette, you'll be able to mix shades and water them down and dilute them and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a few different ways you can do it. And taking a little break for some Echo cuddles. She was super snuggly this day. Just always got to get involved. And when she's being extra cute like this, I'm gonna put her in a video, and I'm pretty sure she knows that. So enjoy. Now the prompt for this month was be bold. And that's pretty broad. Like, there's so much you could do with that. And because we had a very interesting color palette with our paint markers, and I really wanted to utilize that black brush pen quite a bit. Although I had swatched out different ways to dilute the paints and water them down, the word bold to me said, no, let's do flat block colors. So with that in mind, I actually decided to take inspiration from the last piece that I created from an art subscription box, which was the scroller box. And I'm pretty much recreating the exact same artwork that I did in that, and I'll link the video up above so you can watch it, but with these art supplies. So I just got to sketching with the graphite pencil that was in the Upcrate box, and that eraser, it's so nice. I don't know how to describe it to you. My hands really like that eraser. It feels so good. And yeah, it's a good eraser as well. So I'm just lightly sketching out my piece, which is a lady holding a skull. Because when I looked at the color palette that we have, I started thinking about how we could work with those, and just using the 4 shades just in block colors, like not mixing them at all, not diluting them at all, not blending them really, just having like straight block colors. Like I really like the effect that has. It's quite graphic. Reminds me of old timey kind of like old graphic posters. So I thought we can do this pink for her skin tone and use the orange red. Was it orange red, red orange? For the shadows, and I thought that would work really well for her face. And I mean, at this stage in the ugly face, it's giving Hellraiser, like it is, but bear with me, trust the process, it all comes together in the end. But yeah, these two colors together, it's quite, yeah, it's a little spooky, but that's okay. So if you'd watched that previous video of mine when we did this same illustration with just graphite pencils and charcoal, this is a very, very different vibe. And I don't normally work like this with unblended color, but I really liked the challenge of this, and it was a challenging color palette too. And working with a limited color palette and something that's so limited like this is a great way to combat some art block. And you know, I've talked about art block ideas a couple of times in a couple of different videos, and a limited color palette is one for the next video probably. I'm starting to make another list. So if you have only 4 colors you can use, you're either forced to just make it work with those 4 shades or start mixing them and seeing what new shades you can create. And it's really cool, and it sort of breaks you out of your regular routine of, I know we all have our favorite colors that we choose and our palettes that we like to use that we know that work for us. But the great thing about the art subscription boxes as well is you don't know what you're going to get, you don't know what colors you're going to get, and you have to make it work. So yeah, I just did the pink and the orange red for the skin tone, and I did the skull in the orange. And yeah, like I said, I do like these paint markers, but they are, I sort of wish the paint just flowed a little bit more freely. But the brush tip is really, really nice. It's like using a paintbrush. So I thought I'd just bring the orange up into that top part of the illustration through highlights in her hair, and then I used the green curry color to color in her hair. So it's getting a little bit more coming together, a little bit more witchy. These paint markers actually come in 84 colors in the full range. So now I have 8, I think, altogether. And they're an acrylic pigment, acrylic paint. And you can use them on glass, paper, plastic, wood, all kinds of things. And you can layer them, and they mix quite well too. And another way that you can blend the colors is to use them tip to tip. So if you like color the tip of one paint marker with the other, then you can blend them out that way. I should have actually shown you that in the video, because it's, I don't know if I'm describing it properly. But yeah, so I colored in all the areas with the colors, and then went in with the black brush marker to just add in all the line work and the details. And then it all sort of started coming together once I started using this art supply. And I really liked this brush marker a lot. Very juicy, lots of ink, really easy to use, and you can get lots of different line weights. So I'll definitely be using this one again. So yeah, I would love to know your thoughts if you watched my previous video, which one you prefer. I think I'm going to try some more artwork in this style. because I like especially the way that the shadows worked on her skin tone. And we got a skull and we got like a Barbie pink skin tone, so it's win-win for me, because that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do at the moment. I hope it doesn't get real boring for everyone. I wonder what's in the next Upcrate box, because this one was literally sitting at my desk, obviously for a month, because it took another month because I got the other one today, so I thought it had only been a couple of weeks. So here's my finished illustration, and I was actually going to leave it like this, but I just felt like I wanted more. So I decided to add some orange in the background, and this helped tie the top and the bottom part of the illustration together, I feel. And I'm glad I made this decision. So I just used the orange mango paint marker for that, and then I went in with the black brush pen to add in a background. And I think this was the right choice. I very rarely do backgrounds. I was doing some sketching on a TikTok live one day, and someone in the comments asked me if I do backgrounds, and I'm like, not if I can help it. I never know what to do, and if I've done an illustration that I really like, I don't want to do a background that I hate and then wreck the whole piece. If that resonates with anyone, let me know. So I did this, and I think it really worked, and this is the finished piece. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it was a good box. I will definitely use these supplies again. So I thought I'd just pop in at the end to show you that this was the piece that I did with the Upcrate supplies, and then this was the piece from the last scroller box. So I've referenced this in creating this, and you can see how they're quite different, because obviously we've used very different art supplies, but they're also, you know, similar. So it was kind of cool to recreate an existing piece in a new way. Let me know what you think. Which one do you prefer? That's all. See you next time.